So, as some of you may know, in case you haven't watched Night 2 of SFM Starbound yet, go watch that before watching this video, or I guess you already probably got spoiled by what we're about to talk about here, but the reign of Kenny Omega as SFM champion has officially come to an end. After almost a full 2 years as champion, 2 reigns in a one hole, I guess you could call it. Kenny Omega reigned for that long, and at Starbound, he would be dethroned finally by the demon, Finn Balor. But from what you're about to see in this video, you're about to see the whole confliction I had with this reign, as I almost had many different superstars and Kenny Omega's reign. Now, there are going to be some on here that you don't see that you would have expected me to say to end Kenny Omega's reign. I got a reasoning for the other people on why they were going to end it, but just note, just because I thought and said they might have ended it doesn't mean they obviously ended it, because he still reigns. So just remember, this was just some plans down the road. This is from when he won it all the way till now, and it contains ones from his first and second reign. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
You know it's all about the power!
So the first time we ran into this situation was back at Night of Champions, and this was like a month or two into Kenny Omega's reign. He won it at WrestleMania 7 in April of 2025, and this was June of 2025. So the story here was Adam Cole, during the match, attacked the midsection of Kenny, which at the time Kenny Omega was coming back from a huge life-threatening injury or career-ending like diverticulitis. And I thought to myself during when I was making the match, what if Adam Cole won, and what if he took the champion from Kenny Omega? Now, Kenny Omega probably would have ended up winning it back eventually, but it would have been interesting. But the reason it didn't happen was Kenny Omega had just won the champion, so it would be kind of stupid in a way, but it would make sense also in a way. It would give a fresh change really early in a shocking moment, but in the end, it didn't happen. Kenny Omega still fought through and retained the champion. This was the time where I didn't really know if Kenny Omega was going to be treated as a face or a heel. I mean, he was a heel, but at this moment, he was kind of treated like a face. But in the end, Kenny Omega would still have retained the champion here. Adam Cole was just like a 5-minute thought, and I was like, no, I couldn't do it yet. So with that being said, Adam Cole here at least was not definitively thought to be Kenny Omega, but it was definitely an idea. So with Will Ospreay here, it's not what you would have expected. There was an idea going through my head, and of course this was the year 2025 where John Cena turned heel with The Rock, and I thought, what if I did something similar like that but with Will Ospreay? And an idea that I had was that, of course, Don Callis was the manager of Kenny Omega, but I thought in a way, if Kenny Omega was being portrayed as a babyface, what if Will Ospreay, after returning, turned heel, aligned himself with Don Callis, and a heel Will Ospreay would become SFM champion once again? Of course, I didn't do that because I think this was around the time where we were getting reports that Ospreay had a neck injury, and of course, Ospreay, I wasn't going to turn him heel at least yet, and Kenny Omega still had unfinished business to do. I think this is when I had decided Kenny was going to lose to John Cena at Out of Time, but then retain the champion, so I couldn't have him lose here, at least with that happening. So Ospreay never turned heel. He never aligned with Don Callis. Kenny Omega obviously retained the SFM champion here, but that was definitely an idea here. I mean, maybe a Will Ospreay heel turn could come into the future. I would need to learn a bit more about an Ospreay heel turn, of course, but this was definitely an idea. But other than that, the idea still was for Kenny Omega to retain the champion at SummerSlam.
Dirty, sexy, slinky thing.
So with Adam Cole here at the time, me and him were having a feud, and the idea here was Adam Cole would have won the SFM champion in a way of like, I count the 3 and it's a shocking moment. Adam Cole would have won the champion here. Kenny Omega would have probably won it back eventually, because this was around the time of Out of Time, but I was almost about to make Adam Cole the SFM champion, but I never did because, of course, the plans that we had in the future after this was just too much, and yeah, I probably Adam Cole would have had an okay reign as champion. Probably would have been short, so I didn't make him champion because it would have been short either way. If I'm going to make someone champion, then I'm at least going to make it so they have somewhat of an okay reign. But yeah, Adam Cole was definitely an idea here, and this was the last time that Adam Cole was a thought to dethrone Kenny Omega as SFM champion here. So, yeah, that was pretty much that right there.
Your time is up, my time is now.
So now we get to John Cena, and I already mentioned, John Cena did beat Kenny Omega to become the SFN champion. Well, but what happened? I figured I'd mention him here anyways. John Cena did beat Kenny Omega, but after the match, Kenny Omega would ask Finn Balor and command him to give him the contract where Finn Balor won at SummerSlam to earn an opportunity to fight the SFN champion whenever he wanted. And after the match, it was like a Christian Cage and Luchasaurus moment. It was like a GCW Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa moment here where Kenny Omega lost but would end up getting the title back here, almost like what John Cena said in that one interview where he would win the 17th World Champion at SummerSlam 2021, but then the match would be restarted. But of course it was because of the contract here. So yes, Kenny Omega lost here. Cena did beat him, but Kenny got it back anyway, so technically, yeah, but I figured I'd mention him anyways because it was a huge moment in one of Kenny Omega's reigns, and this was the end of Kenny Omega's first reign as SFN champion, but also marked the night that would begin his second reign of SFN champion, and that second reign was where I thought so many times I was going to end the reign of Kenny Omega, but I never did. But this was a moment here where he did lose, but he won it back. Next up, we got Gunther, and this was at Hexagon this previous year on the road to WrestleMania, and Gunther was an ideal to defeat Kenny Omega because Gunther, at this point, I was so close to putting the SFM champion on him. Actually, a little thing to note, I was thinking and planning on Gunther winning the Royal Rumble because of how big he had gotten in WWE after defeating John Cena. I wanted him to be a big deal in SFM, but I also thought at the same time, him main eventing WrestleMania, the main event of WrestleMania almost became a triple threat match between Gunther, Kenny, and AJ, but the match that I really wanted at WrestleMania was Kenny and AJ, and if Gunther did beat Kenny on the road to WrestleMania, then there was really nothing for Kenny Omega to do. He wasn't going to be in a match against Ethan. He wasn't going to be in a match. I mean, it could have been a triple threat match it turned into, but I don't really know what happened. But, yeah, we didn't do that. Gunther almost became SFN champion, but we stuck to our original plan here. Another thing, you're not going to see AJ on this because AJ was never really meant to win the SFN champion. I'm sorry to any of you AJ fans, but, yeah, AJ Styles was never going to win the SFN champion at WrestleMania. I never even had a thought of him doing it because of the story that he's having right now. It would have never worked, so yeah, I'm sorry. So now we're really getting to the most recent times. This happened like a few months ago, and Hangman was definitely a thought. I was really close to this, but the reason it happened was he was just coming off of returning. He had a big momentum, but it wasn't going to happen. Kenny, at this time, I had made up my mind that it was going to be Demon Finn Balor. So Kenny Omega wasn't going to lose here, but I was so close to putting the champion on Hangman because it would have been a moment like AEW Full Gear 2021 almost, and I was so close to putting, like, if you would have understand how close I was, it would have been absolutely insane here, but it never happened. Hangman never won, and the reason mostly is because, you know, with these superstars, depending on you if you're the right superstar or not, you just kind of got to get lucky. But if I put the champion on you like really early into like a career, then when you lose it, you kind of have like nowhere to go, so you're kind of lost there, and I didn't want that for Hangman and Page. And as you've seen, he has been booked more in SFM. I mean, he would have with the champion, but he would have eventually lost it. So yeah, right now he didn't win the champion. Hangman will be a future champion in SFM. I'm not going to say whether it's world or SFM champion, but I do see him being a big champion in the foreseeable future. But yeah, this was a time where I thought I was going to make him champion, but it just never happens. Man, I hope Ethan's here for this one. So I'm not even kidding. This was a possibility and an idea only for the fact that it would have been a moment. It would have been full circle for Ethan. It would have been such a beautiful, wonderful moment for him. And he probably would have went on like a Darby Allin reign, held it for like a month, lost it at next one up, to Kenny Omega, but it would have been something, but in the end, it just wasn't his time yet. And I can say the same for Ethan. He will be a future champion in SFM eventually, but Clash in the Coliseum was not his night. I was so close to putting the champion on Ethan, but at that point, I just knew that it just wouldn't have been the right time yet. And when he does eventually win the champion, it's going to be beautiful. But yeah, he did get his match with Kenny Omega. I don't know how he's feeling now that Kenny isn't champion no more. I don't know if he's still going to go after Kenny Omega himself. But one thing for sure is Ethan's eyes are still as set on the SFM champion here. But yeah, Ethan, this just unfortunately wasn't his night to dethrone Kenny Omega.
Say his name and he appears.
So with all these competitors here, this was really, really recent. Yeah, all three of these men had an idea of dethroning the champion Kenny Omega. With Bowser Jr., he would have pulled an upset, a very shocking moment. He would have pinned Kenny Omega. If it was Dominic, it would have been like NXT Heatwave with Ethan Page's win, but Dominic falls into like Joe Hendry, and then Jr. pulls Kenny out the ring, and then Dominic wins, and then Hendry probably would have pinned Dominic Mysterio to become champion. Any one of these men, that's how they would have been champion. It would have been for the moment, the shock, and honestly, they probably would have still been champion by now if I had gone with this decision. But of course, we were literally as close as you could have ever been to Starbound, and with that being said, at that point I was like, well, I'm already here, might as well go for Demon Balor. Jr. was like the least of an idea. Joe Hendry was the middle. Dominic was really, really an idea. I was like very about to push him. I'm still even pushing him a little bit. Dominic's going to be huge in SFM. Joe Hendry is going to be here. Junior is going to be here, all that stuff. But yeah, this was definitely an idea. But because of how close we were to next one up, it just wasn't, it was not going to happen. And of course, that, well, leads us to now. It happened. Kenny Omega's reign as SF champion is over. Finn Balor did it at Starbound. If you haven't seen that match, go watch it. It was amazing. And the thought process behind this was I wanted to do something similar to the Extreme Rules 2020 ending with Balor and Reigns. But the difference is that Finn Balor actually hits the coup de grace with all the thing that's happening. And honestly, it got a mixed reaction. I mean, of course, some people were questioning the idea. One person was definitely mad and says it didn't need to happen, but some people from the live chat and maybe some people watching this video were happy that Finn did it that way. I know some people definitely didn't expect it. One person called out the Extreme Rules style of ending. It was like, I better not have done the ending like what happened, but that's why I did it. I wanted it to be a shocking moment. I was like, the point where it's like, I want someone to have that callback and be like, did you really do what I think you just did? And of course, when I did it differently, it was like oh my god, he actually did it. So, I'm happy with the decision that I made. I'm happy I made Finn Balor the champion. He's going to go on a great run. This is my second time being able to do a reign with Finn Balor, and this is special because now he gets to do it as a face, because his first reign was mostly as a heel, but this time it's going to be as a face, and it's going to be in front of people that actually get to see it, witness it. He's going to go on a great reign. I also have to say thank you to Kenny Omega, because ever since I put the champion on him back at WrestleMania 7, like almost 2 years ago or like a year ago, he's been holding it down for SFM, and it would not be where it is today. And I don't know what's next for him, but honestly, I thank him for being at the top, and maybe he might be another champion one day. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the people that have seen Night 1 and Night 2 is Starbound so far. If you have not seen it, go check it out. We got 2 incredible nights already out, and we are getting set for the next major show, Money in the Bank, and then the show after, which is Night After Summer. Make sure to check that out. That will be coming out this Friday. So, yeah, I hope you all enjoy your day. This is being recorded on a Monday. Enjoy your Monday, I guess. Enjoy Monday Night Raw by the time you're watching this, if it happens. And we will see you all on the next video here on SFM.